Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. I fought this fight with myself. Revenge became my only reason for living. I will explain how and why, but first take a second to subscribe, like, and share to reach more people. I am an orphan. My parents died when I was only 6 years old, so I was sent to my aunt's house. Aunt Perla was one of the most influential businesswomen in Congo. She owned several companies in Brazza and also managed some businesses in Kai. She did everything possible to make me feel better and move on. I admired her so much. She was so strong and independent. Not that she was not married, but she contributed as much as Uncle Chris did in the home. They had only one child. Strange enough for an African family worthy of the name, but Aunt Perla was far from being the kind of woman who was subjected to certain standards. She had decided to focus on her back after her first child. Best part is it was a boy. However, the family members did not leave her alone. They said Uncle Chris was too soft, that he had to assert himself better and ensure his sustainability. What they did not know was that he saw absolutely nothing wrong. In short, they became very separate from the family. The worst was when during family meetings they tried to present the gospel to the other members. Once I even overheard some uncles say that they had sold their children to their so-called God in exchange for money and wanted them to be their followers in the same madness. It's funny, but I too began to be weary of this God that Aunt Perla and her family prayed to. Every Sunday, we went to church because she never had time on the other days of the week. I only prayed out of simple obedience. It was a routine at home that I could not escape. So that's how I grew up with my cousin Ethan. Everything was just normal. He spent more time with his friends, and we didn't really argue until we met as a family. The more he grew up, the more he spent his time outside, which his parents did not know because he asked me to cover him up every time they went out to the city. They used to go on a business trip, so I became the mistress of the house. Ethan was going out and coming back after days, and I couldn't say anything. On my 16th birthday, I was alone at home. Our parents were not yet back, and Ethan, as always, was out. I was so sad being home alone. He came home around midnight. He had had so much alcohol that he could no longer even stand up alone. His friends left him at the entrance without even making sure that he entered. I did my best to drive him to his room, but he was vomiting even along the way. It was the most disgusting thing I had ever seen, or almost. I didn't know that by putting my foot in his room, I would come out confused. I have trouble remembering what happened after, certainly because I have been working for years to forget. But I lost my pride as a woman. The next morning, nothing made any sense to me, and he had gotten up as if nothing had happened. He disgusted me so much I wanted to strangle him, scream, and tell anyone willing to hear what had happened, but nothing. Our parents came back that day with my birthday present, but then I felt the same hatred for them. If only they had returned earlier than expected, none of this would have ever happened. I would not have been. I couldn't keep it to myself alone, so I decided to tell my aunt, but before I did, Ethan came to me to tell me. I know you feel bad for last night, but it's nothing. Don't worry about it. I know it wasn't so horrible. If you say a single word to my parents, I will make your life hell in this house. Moreover, they will never believe you. After all, it is you who goes out every day in their absence and comes home in no time. You go out despite the reprimands of your beloved big brother. Tell me which of us is more plausible, the only son who makes their pride at school and everywhere else, or the niece traumatized by the tragic death of her parents? My anger skyrocketed, and I thought he was coming to apologize. At the same time, it was a somehow right. I therefore decided to remain silent, not knowing that I was signing the end of my piece. The same scene happened every time our parents traveled. I became my cousin's mistress. I couldn't believe that we could be so bad, but yet pray all the time. I also hated this God to whom we prayed every time, yet he couldn't answer my prayers. Yes, I prayed so hard that this monster should be unmasked in one way or another, but on the contrary, he succeeded even more, first at school and then at work, and I could not evolve. I was less than mediocre. He had to pay for what he had done to me. I meditated on it and looked for ways to bring him down. Having found nothing, I decided to make him food and brought it to his office. I made his favorite dish, but on my way, there was a strike and the roads were blocked. There was agitation everywhere. But the law enforcement forces led us to a safe hangar for our safety while things got stuck. Once there, a man spoke. Do you know? The world today is filled with hatred and cruelty. Man has become the guarantor of the fall of his neighbor, showing us that the devil has taken up residence in our homes, in our streets, in our country. Yet Jesus tells us to love each other. If only we could become his followers, life would be much easier. He said in Matthew 5 from verse 38, "You have learned it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you now to resist the devil. If someone hits you on the right cheek, present the other too. You have learned that it has been said you will love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who mistreat you and persecute you, so that you may be the son of your Father who is in heaven." How could he say such a thing? Forgiving was never that easy. I was lost in my thoughts, then he resumed. I know that someone here among you is in this situation. I can see a bruised and bitter heart, but God instructs me to tell you not to make this mistake, because you will regret it all your life. His life is all the more important, and God loves you both. He still loves you and has seen all your tears. I was so upset by these words, but by the time the strike was over, I was confused. Should I continue or stop? In my place, what would you have done? I'm waiting for your opinions and comment.